Hello, everybody. This is Jonathan Simkin, the president of 604 Records, and I'm excited. We have 604 recording artist, Nacusp's own, Mitch Zorn. Mitch, how are you?
Good, man. How are you? Boss man.
The boss man. That's me. Although Chad might say otherwise.
Yeah, right?
He might say he's the boss man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm good. It's a pretty hot day here in Vancouver.
It's cooking.
It's cooking a little, and I overdressed as usual.
Yeah.
Mitch, I should have dressed.
I know. I wasn't
shorts.
sure how formal I was supposed to be, but
These
I went
aren't
with
formal.
comfort first.
These aren't formal. I just like to wear like an overshirt so I can pretend I don't have a gut,
Right.
you know?
Yeah.
I feel like I first became aware of you 2.5 years ago. Does that sound about right?
That sounds perfect. Yeah.
And there was a bunch of country artists who seemed to be sort of focused around Kelowna.
Yeah.
And so all of a sudden it's like, oh man, there's all these amazing artists who are sort of happening right now in Kelowna.
Yeah.
And you were one of them. My staff, who are, sort of running the country division, were just saying, man, there's something going on in Kelowna.
Yeah.
Like there's all this stuff
I've been
going
getting
on.
that a lot.
I would love to hear a little bit about that. Because there was you, and there was Ledlin from Kelowna?
Ledlin's from out here, but he was playing shows with us out there. So
he's part of that group.
Yeah, Zach McPhee's out there.
Dawson Gray.
And Dane Bateman's another one.
Right.
Yeah.
So what, like, obviously this was stuff going on before we were involved.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to hear a little bit about what that was like. Like how did you guys all get to know each other, and sort of what was that like before people started getting signed and all that stuff?
Yeah. I mean, I can only really speak to my experience of it. I was in Nashville. I was living there for 5 or 6 years. This was 2017 to the end of 21. And then I moved back to Canada, and I was kind of taking a break on the music thing. But me and my cousin were just out drinking one night in Kelowna downtown. And there's this kid busking on the street, just playing tunes. He didn't have an album, didn't have any songs going. He was just playing for fun. And we got to chatting, and that ended up being Dawson Gray. But at the time he had never played a show. I had, taken a step back, and we were like, well, why don't we just get together, try to write some songs and try to start playing some shows. And then him and I played probably 80 shows that summer, just playing like wineries and weddings.
So mostly around Kelowna?
Yeah, just around Kelowna. Yeah. There was a couple like little one-offs out of town, but it was mostly around Kelowna. And then I started hearing about Zach McPhee through Mark, and me and Dawson were introduced to Mark by Dan and Garrett, because Dan and Garrett was working with Mark at the time. He had that one song that was doing well. And then
that's the Renaissance, for those of you who don't know. It's a local production duo, Dan and Garrett, who are really having
a moment.
Are having a moment. And I'm sorry, I'm interrupting your story.
No,
we'll go back to it. But the thing that's funny about Dan and Garrett is they also have sort of this alter ego of their band. Now it's called
Gang,
but I knew them as the Face Plants.
Yeah.
And it's funny because when I first realized, it's the same guys that were, because they had been sending me demos for a decade.
Yeah.
And I always liked it. I always thought, and I think I try to be respectful and nice to people who, I realize when an artist sends their music, it's a very personal thing. And,
of course.
I've never understood why in the music business, some people think it's okay to just not respond to people. I think it's just, there's a lot of rude that goes on in this business. No. But I like them. I mean, they were persistent, but it was so strange. There's such a weird disconnect.
And now they're just sneaking in the side door now.
Well, but the Face Plants are almost like a punk band.
Definitely. Very much so.
And I mean, what? They're producing all these country artists? What the hell?
Yeah, it's weird.
But anyways, continue. So you're talking about just how everybody got to know each other.
Yeah, through them. So I was making, I just had some songs I was writing up north when I was working. I wanted to work on, and we started making songs with those guys, and Mark and Zach started making tunes with them, and then Dane Bateman came along. I've known Dane since Nacusp. He's from Nacusp. I taught him to play guitar. I've known him. His older cousin's my best friend. So he was kind of doing a different thing with Mark and those guys, and I was kind of touring around with Doss, and then we all just started kind of rising together, and everybody's kind of getting their little shots here and there. So it's been a a weird little turnaround for all of us.
Are you still friendly with everybody?
Oh yeah. We're super friendly. Like, we don't hang out much. Just friend groups are different. Zach's got a wife and a baby, and Dane, does his thing, and Mark's out here. Doss is on the road constantly, so I don't hang out with those boys as much as I'd like to, but we try to get out golfing and write songs every once in a while.
And like when something nice happens, like you had a single that did really well, is everybody supportive and they're hey, amazing
absolutely,
dude?
Yeah, absolutely. Which is cool. You don't get that a lot in this industry. I find like the people
What are you saying? What are you suggesting?
I'm suggesting that like only sometimes,
Yes.
like people that are like friendly with you, but not your everyday friends.
Yeah.
Have an opinion when they're standing talking to you, and have other opinions, and it's just the nature of the beast, and it's the way that it is. But it's a strange little thing to navigate. So on that, it's good to have these 4 or 5 guys that are like all having success in their own way and are still friends with each other. You know what I mean? Still just takes the seriousness out of it, I think.
I think that's true. And I mean, there's something about, it is a funny business in a lot of ways. That's one way. It is very backstabby and kind of, people get kind of, bitter if somebody succeeds and they don't. And it's tough. Like and it just is getting tougher just because it's so much harder to make a living at it now than it was when I first started, 25 years ago. Totally. And it was tough then.
100%.
But now, just the way the business works, it's so hard to make a living. Okay. And then, so we signed you, I don't know, a year and a half ago?
Yeah.
And I'm so curious because, of course, I always know it from my side of the table, but I'm always interested to hear it from the other side of the table. So, we make you an offer. Is that exciting? Is it scary? Is it both? Is it you telling your parents? You telling your girlfriend? You just sort of processing it alone in your room? Like what? How did that when you actually got an offer? What was that like for you?
Yeah, it was kind of like, it was weird. I was feeling all those different things, I think. Like, and we were in talks for a while before we signed up. Like, I know you and I chatted a bunch, and there was, a couple months of just like figuring it out. And I think for me, like, as excited as I was also just like, what does this mean? Like for me, I don't know what that's supposed to look like. I don't know what, like, you have this idea of signing a record deal your whole life, but you don't know what goes on past that. Like somehow you get marketed, you get songs out there, and you get on the road and play shows, but you don't know like what that actually looks like in the rooms behind the scenes. So it was a lot of just kind of like, but like I said, I had kind of given up on music right before I signed with you guys. So I was just like, whatever happens, like this is,
it's like found money.
Yeah, because, literally. Yeah. Like it's a cool opportunity, and it's a record deal. It's, what I've been dreaming of. But I will say, when me and Doss came, because me and Dawson came here together when I signed the deal, and I went out there and I was, in tears, crying in the car, calling my dad, you know what I mean? Because it's been a lot of years working on this stuff, and you finally get a look, and it's, like you said, on one hand, it's just the greatest thing that could ever happen to you, but you also just try to figure out what the it all means. Well,
for all the people who try to have a career in a music business, very few even get to the point of getting a 100%. Record deal.
And that's how I look at it.
Yeah. No, it's for sure. It's so different than when I first started, in the sense that, like, when I first started, it was all so controlled by major labels. And if you weren't signed to a major label, or at least to an indie that was sort of in business with a major label,
you're cooked.
It was really tough. And that was in part because of radio, because the majors had the best sort of
relationships.
They really did. When I first started, the majors were the gatekeepers in every single respect.
Yeah.
They had the best relationships with radio.
Yeah.
And that was always a kind of a weird mutual, like they would, all these radio stations would have their like summer festival, where, the majors would make sure that
they got a big
artist. If we give you such and such artist for your thing, will you play our new single? And, there's a lot of that kind of negotiation. But the majors also were in control of retail. And that's when it was a physical business.
Mm-hmm.
So, they had all the front racks at the record stores.
Mm-hmm.
And they even owned the CD manufacturing plants.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they were in control of every aspect of it.
Mm-hmm.
And if you weren't on a major, boy, it was almost impossible to break through. If you think about it, it's funny because, if that's 25 years ago, well, think how much has changed. Radio, still important, but nowhere near as important as when I was starting out. Retail, not important at all.
Yeah.
You sell vinyl records, but that's hardly,
it's more of a collector's item now, buying a vinyl record or a cassette or something.
It's a niche.
You just want to have
product.
it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So it's funny how that part has changed too. And, I sometimes, as a guy who's been running a record label for 22 or so years, I question it sometimes. Like, if I was starting out as an artist, would I even want to be on a label?
I guess there's both two ways of looking at it, but that's how I always explain it to people when they're asking me, like, what in my mind has changed the most. And it seemed like before the internet, there was the radio in place in the local cities and towns that would get all the songs out to the people. And then there was the small groups within the big major labels that would kind of pluck the artists out and decide which ones were going to do the thing and put them on the road and then build them up that way. But it was very much like behind lock and key, it seemed like, where now I feel like I don't know this, but I feel like the labels are just trying to like figure out a way to exist in a world where global like virality happens on a daily basis, but it's not always sustained like that. You know what I mean? And jumping on something because it's doing this doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be able to keep it going and sustain it. But at the same time, you don't want to miss out on those big moments. So now I feel like it's hard to figure out which artist is worth putting the time and effort into,
I might just
There's a million of them.
There is. I might just be old fashioned about how I see this stuff. In fact, I know I am, but I'm not that interested in the viral moment artists. And that could just be a personal preference.
Yeah.
Because you're right. You can make some money, you can have a moment, you can, and if that happened, great. And in a weird way, I've had a few of those just not in the way like, Call Me Maybe was a moment. Now it turns out it's a moment that seems to still be continuing 12 years later. Totally. But in the sense that there was that immediate moment where everybody and their uncle was making the video. There are videos online from everybody from Barack Obama to Kermit the Frog doing Call Me Maybe. It got on Glee. It got on,
it's everywhere.
But that's different than sort of what happens now, where it's sort of like, and I've talked about this in another podcast, can't remember which one, but there's that kid, Pofu.
Mm-hmm.
I always feel like I'm saying it wrong. Pofu, who's also happens to be the son of Dave Faber, who was in the band Faber Drive.
Yeah.
And, he puts out a song and kaboom. I think that thing's got something like 2.6 billion streams.
God dang.
But then he hasn't really been able to.
Were you prepared to be able to build on that is what I like.
And how the hell do you build on 2.9 billion streams?
Yeah.
And listen, I hope he made a ton of money.
Yeah.
I hope he had, but where does that leave you at that point? Where are you and where do you go from there when you have that kind of moment? I'm interested in building careers. Yeah. And I've been with so many bands who have built their career fan by fan, step by step, show by show.
Yeah.
And that's just the way I know and the way I like to do it.
Yeah.
I also think it's a recipe for a longer career.
100%. I agree.
So I look at something like, I don't know, Marianas Trench, where that fan base is so committed and so rabid.
Mm-hmm.
We just put out a box set of Marianas Trench. And it's expensive. It's a lot of records. I think it's like 13, 14 vinyl records and some extras. It was almost $400.
Yeah.
It sold out like
instantly.
Which, now, are they the biggest band in the world? No, of course not. They're not even close. But to have a fan base that is so committed, they've been able to make a nice living because of that fan base. Mm-hmm. So, and Nickelback is, people always think of Nickelback as, they How You Remind Me, and then they blew up, which is kind of true, but misses a lot of the point, which is we had a good 6-7 years of building. So when that moment happened, same with Mariana's and the song Cross My Heart, when that moment happened, the fan base that we had built came out of and everybody was like, where did they come from?
Yeah.
Well, they didn't know, but we did.
Yeah.
It came from all those shows.
Yeah.
Like
exactly.
show after show after show. And it just says something about the importance of work ethic and the whole thing.
Yeah.
And the importance of perseverance. In fact, I mean, that's something we could talk about with you as well, because so you put out your first single, Home, and did exceedingly well. Now, part of the reason it did exceedingly well was you got all those radio programs that are offered.
Yeah.
Like 4, I think you got.
All 4 of them.
Rogers, Stingray, Bell,
and Acadia.
Or Acadia.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's remarkable when that happens. Because all of a sudden you go from like kind of 0 to 100. And what chart number did we reach?
27.
I mean, your first song goes, top 30, which is
I was pretty pumped.
pretty rare. Now I'll ask you, and so you have that moment, and it's its own version in a way of a viral moment. And then the program ends. Now your song continued to do well, and the streams are crazy good.
Yeah.
But was there a downside afterwards? Like, was it like, because you sort of had that, I say artificial, just in the sense of like, you were getting played because the song was good, but also because of the programs.
Yeah.
Like, looking back, are you happy it started that way? Do you wish it hadn't started that way?
I think in that specific example, I'm very happy that it started that way, because it was kind of just like, I went from a complete nobody to just like kind of a nobody, you know what I mean? Where I'm like, I still exist in the...
Oh, you'll always be somebody to me, Mitch.
Exactly. I appreciate that. But no, I thought it was really cool. And then, like you said, just about like the viral moments in the internet and all that stuff, our team, we went out and shook hands with all the radio people after that, like right after that. And most of them kept the song in rotation. There was a couple that didn't, but that's just the way of the road, I guess. But it was, I think it was perfect. It was a good jump, and then you just kind of rode it out from there.
Yeah, I like I said, I have mixed feelings about those programs. I mean, I've never said no, so that tells you something. Like when we've had artists, I've never once said no. Yeah. But I'm usually one to also be pretty vocal to sort of warn everybody ahead of time, like, listen, when that program's over, that's kind of when the work really sort of begins.
Yeah.
Because you don't have that extra push that's coming. You sort of have to figure out a way to, maintain that momentum.
Totally. And for us, it was just, sending me out there and getting in all the radio rooms, and even that showcase we did in Toronto, and getting them all come out and watch. Like, I felt like that was huge, because now I can put a face to a name. They can put a face to a name. They know who I am as a person, and automatically they're going to care a little more than just the programs. You know what I mean? So the programs, I think, were a positive thing in that instance. But I don't think you can rely on just them to get you through. You know what I mean?
You definitely can't.
Yeah.
Like, you definitely can. So going back to the whole thing about like, is it better for an artist to sign or not sign? Like, I think, and maybe, I mean, it's in my interest to think this way, but I'd like to think the advantage to being on an indie label, I think there's advantages to being on an indie label that you wouldn't have on a major. I mean, one is our deals are a little more mellow in many respects. But I think where it really helps is things like having access to a team of video makers, and having access to a team of social media people, and having access to a studio, and having access to sort of that sort of support,
100%.
Which if you were completely independent, you'd have to be paying people. You'd have to, it's a bit of a different sort of animal.
100%.
Is it helpful to you to have that sort of infrastructure there?
For sure. I think, and especially in today's world, like one of your biggest expenses as an artist now is a videographer, because you're constantly making content. And the amount of money that I was spending before I was, on the team was astronomical. And like, I still was working a job, and I was still trying to support myself, but you have to post every day. That's the thing, right? So you have to have something to post. So you're filming all the time. These people got to get paid. So it's just, to have the team built into one building is a saving grace, I would say.
Do you do TikTok?
Oh yeah.
And do you do it a lot?
Yeah.
Like every day?
I try to.
Did you know I was on TikTok now?
No, I'm going to go look it up.
Oh, I'm on.
See what the hell's on there.
Alex here, our podcast. He's laughing. Why are you laughing? Because I have a funny TikTok? Yeah. It's good. So far, so good. But it's funny you say that about, because, that's what our social media person has been saying. You got to post every day.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't have anything. I don't have enough to say.
That's what and that's my biggest thing is like, and that the funniest thing is you talk to a lot of these folks and the thing is, well, you got to be authentic and be yourself. And I'm like, myself is I'm in the forest and my phone's at the house and I'm in a boat somewhere fishing. That's who I am.
Yes.
Authentically.
Well, then you should be doing that. Is that what you do?
And that's what I'm doing most of the time. But like to get on there and I don't know. I always say like, I think I'm an introvert who just decided to be a musician for some reason.
Well, I'm just amazed. I mean, so far, I think I've only posted twice or three times. And it's usually just, I guess it's authentic because it's basically just me in my office saying, I mean, there's one where I'm talking about, this is my glamorous life as a music mogul, sitting in my office in my underwear at 2 a.m.
Literally.
It's like, there you go. It's like, that's,
Literally.
But, I have found it interesting. Like I'm amazed at the reactions I'm getting, which have mostly been positive, but like, I don't know, is that all anybody does now? Sit around in their phone looking at other people's TikTok? I mean, I find it depressing,
Absolutely.
man. I just like, I want to say this to other people, but I'm saying it to myself as well. Get a life. Holy
seriously. Go to a show. It's brutal.
Go to a show. Last summer, we had a nice chance to hang out in.
We were in Naramata.
Thank you. Because
Kelowna.
That's right. Because my younger son is a counselor, was last summer there. Yeah. And that was nice. So we had a nice dinner with you and your lovely girlfriend, Audrey. Who is a beautiful, charming woman.
She is. She's the best.
Yeah, she's pretty awesome. And she's also in your video.
She is, yeah. She's the leading lady.
How was that for her? She made
us all look good.
How was that for her? Did she enjoy that?
She complained that she was like, I'm so out of my comfort zone. I'm this, I'm that. I'm like, you were more confident than I was.
Oh, is that right?
I felt like she did great. And I think she thought that by the end too. But no, she took it right on. It's like, if the music thing doesn't work out, we'll just go to Hollywood.
Yeah, exactly. And how's that been for her? Like just watching because I mean, obviously she's kind of living it with you. Like, how's that been for her?
It's been 99% amazing. Obviously she's so supportive and loves to come to the shows and like is genuinely a really big country music fan and actually likes my music. So she tells me, so it's good. But now that I'm traveling a lot more, it's starting to get to something that's a little stressful, but we work through it and we're making it work. Like this fall, I'm pretty much on the road for 2 months straight. And
let's talk about that a little, because I mean, that's a nice thing to promote. So you've got a few things going on show wise, and my brain is real bad with maintaining that, but I know there's that Jess Moskaluk tour. How did that one come about?
I think, well, I mean, that was you and Wendy and Jim Cressman. I'm pretty sure that worked out.
I'm not taking credit for something I didn't do. I think that's probably Wendy.
Yeah. So Wendy was talking to Jim and they were going back and forth for a while. Just trying to figure out like, what artists should fit into what markets as a supporting act. And then by the end of it, they were pretty generous and gave us like 16, 17 dates, which is incredible.
And that's across the country?
Yeah. That's all the way out to PEI. So, which is funny. They they gave me freaking 17 dates, but I didn't get the BC Alberta dates, which is funny. Oh. So I'm interested to see which I have a feeling I know who it's going to be, but I'm interested to see which of my buddies got those dates.
Oh, I see.
Good. So I got all the East Coast dates, which is almost better for me.
Yeah, because you already have a presence here.
Because I can get out there and
Yeah, no, I agree. If I had to choose one or the other, I'd choose the East Coast.
100%.
Plus, so but given me and my nature, I'll be pissed off you didn't get BC, and I'm going to show up at that show with a laser pointer. I'll make them pay.
There you go. That's right.
How dare you not?
Just fighting the good fight. From
That's
the
right,
back
of course.
corner.
And then who else is on those shows out east?
I think it's just me.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it'll be sweet. Yeah, and that's my first like real tour. So,
and did you know much about Jess? Like, is that somebody?
Yeah,
obviously she's done well on radio, so people know her. But
yeah,
did you know much about her?
I met her at the CCMAs a couple of years ago, but I've known who she is forever. I remember when I was like 17, 17 turning 18, so 12 years ago, and I was at Dauphin Country Fest in Manitoba, and I was like just a young guy just watching everybody play, and she was playing like the 2:30, 3 p.m. stage back then, playing the side stage kind of thing. So it's cool to see full circle.
Yeah. And but you have some other dates too coming up.
Yeah, I got so many, I can't even think of which ones, but we got North and Nowhere Festival is on the 17th of July. That's with Muscadine and Lacey Booth, and Cameron Marlowe's headlining that one. That'll be a good one. And then we've got, I'm blanking.
Oh, I know you've got our little festival thing.
And then we're playing the Summer Lights. Summer Light stage. Yeah, playing that here.
Which is just up the street.
Yeah, that'll be a sweet one. I'm bringing the band out for that.
It's the same day as Nickelback's playing Cowichan.
Yeah.
Which, honestly, in a weird kind of way, I was kind of glad I had an excuse not to go to the Nickelback show. And I love seeing Nickelback.
Yeah.
I've seen them probably more than anybody. But from everything I'm hearing, that's going to be some kind of a show.
Yeah.
So I'd rather avoid the traffic and the hassle.
Like a festival show or like a outside stadium show?
It is, but I mean, even people within the band are having trouble getting accommodations for their family.
Jesus.
So it's like, okay, I'm better to just
sit it out. Watch from the stream.
Yeah, I'm going to sit this one out. I'm going to sit this, and I'll be at our festival here, which should be a gas. Actually,
yeah, it'll be fun.
Yeah, and then we should talk about your EP just came out.
Yeah,
on the 20th.
Yeah.
How's that been so far? How's that experience, and how's it been received? And
it's been great. It's been received really well. We got a lot of good playlisting, and just watching the organic stream count go up over the course of the year has been really cool to watch, and just seeing those 5 songs come together into one project, because like you focus song by song, and it's been a year and a half or whatever putting out these 5 songs, but they're so different, each one of them. So it's cool to see how they all fit together. I'm really glad I did it that way.
People don't consume music in albums much anymore.
No, it's playlist world.
Or in, EPs much anymore, which is another one of the huge changes from when I first started in the business, when everybody kind of did things exactly the same way. You'd make an entire album. You didn't just go song by song. Yeah. You would make 10 to 12 songs.
Yeah.
You would make a music video that was usually really expensive. You would choose a single. You would throw the single out into the world. You would cross your fingers. And did it work?
Yeah.
Oh, didn't work. Next.
Yeah.
That was kind of it.
Damn.
So it's interesting to me because albums mean something different now. And the way you phrased it was interesting, because I do think that matters. Like, okay, you had these 5 songs and is it 5? It's 5 on
5,
IDP.
yeah.
And they've all come out.
Yeah.
But to collect them together is almost like marking a moment.
Yeah.
It's almost like saying, okay, this is me. This represents a period of time of who I am. And even if the public isn't really consuming that way anymore, on some level, who cares? Yes. Like it's I've collected this together, and forever this represents that period of time.
And that's how I look at it. Like, I don't really even, people, like I said, it's a playlist world, and people aren't listening to albums front to back. I know there's a small group of people that are, and super grateful for that. But it was more just for me to have like an album, and like even the radio stuff, like, the internet has overtaken the radio in a sense, and it doesn't necessarily mean as much. But for me, like, getting on a chart is something that's like traditionally an aspect of succeeding in the business. Yes. You know what I mean? And it's like, I love chalking up those milestones for myself, like just to have on the wall somewhere. You know what I mean? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no. It's I don't disagree with that. I mean, to me, the big difference is that in the old days when I first started, if you didn't have radio, you were sunk. Yeah. There were a few exceptions to that, but not many. Yeah. There were some bands who somehow were able to just sustain a career live.
Yeah.
But not many. Like if you didn't have radio, and that's why, for example, when what was that album or that record? It was the first Bare Naked Ladies record, Gordon.
Yeah.
when that came out independently and did so well, it was profound. It kind of changed the business a little bit in Canada.
Yeah.
Because it was like, oh, you can put something out independently and have success with it.
Yeah.
It was just so hard to do.
Yeah.
But I look at it now, like radio is still important. And as a money-making venture, radio is less important.
Mm-hmm.
That's why so many people are getting fired right now. I mean, it's sad. It's horrible when to see people you know and your friends losing their jobs.
Yeah. Well, AI's coming. We're next. They're already writing songs. It's crazy.
Have you seen that thing about Velvet Sundown?
Yes. They sound great. And they're not
completely
real.
AI.
Yeah.
Which
it
I
sounds
didn't know.
like I could like hear myself in the room with the band. Like it was,
see, I didn't like it that much. I mean, it's funny. I knew nothing about this until the weekend.
Yeah.
Because Bob Lefsetz wrote about it. And I was like, oh, that's, I'm going to go listen to it right now. And I listened. I was like, it sounds very professional.
Yeah.
But it sounds almost like a bad Genesis album or something. Like it's like prog rock.
Yeah.
Without any edge whatsoever.
Yeah, exactly.
So I didn't love it. But, it's just like radio is still, rather than being the only route.
Yeah.
From A to B, it's now one of a number of routes from A to B. Radio can still do a lot of things for a person.
Totally.
But
and I still think like for what a successful career, I mean, that's such a loaded thing, but like a super successful career looks like now is like you have all of those pieces. You know what I mean? The radio is there, socials are there, the songs are there, and the touring's there. And it's like, I think you have to have all of them, Okay,
so the way you phrase that, what if somebody was to say to you, like, what would be your idea of a successful career? What would that be for you?
I mean, I'm already living a successful career for like what I have had my expectations set on, like getting checks for your music every month, paying your bills with it, getting to play big shows. Like I played my first arena 2 months ago in front of 3,000 people. Like that's the stuff, you know what I mean? But obviously you want to just kick the ceiling in and go as high as you can. So
I get that question a lot. Like, what's your, and I always say the same thing, which is like, as far as I'm concerned, a successful career in music is one where you can pay your rent and not have to get another job.
Yeah.
Which may sound like such an oversimplification, but in a way it's like, I mean, isn't that the most important thing? I mean, to not have to worry about working another job, and to actually be able to pay your bills and to live a life. Now, some people get to live a really nice life just from their music career, and some people less so, but still, as far as I'm concerned, I mean, it's one of the things I'm most proud of is that, all the bands that we've worked with who now that's what they do for a living.
Yeah.
They've had families that they've supported on that. I mean, it's pretty wild.
That's the win. That's the win.
It's a hell of a thing.
Yeah.
Now, going back to the AI thing and the Velvet Sundown thing, is that what they're called? Velvet Sundown?
I think so.
I'm
pretty sure.
Which made me laugh too. And if you look at the song titles, they're kind of cheeky.
Yeah.
Because I thought Velvet Sundown, Velvet Underground.
Yeah. The Velvet Sundown.
The Velvet Sundown, yeah. So, boy, I get that question asked to me a lot these days. How has AI changed your company? How's AI changed things for you? The truth is, it really hasn't.
Yeah, and I don't think, can it? You know what I mean? Like, you're a lawyer. Like,
in certain ways it can. And in certain, it's funny, I was thinking of doing a TikTok about this tonight because I was trying to think, what can I talk about? And I have had, in fact, Alex sent me something from a fan who was like, hey, I'd love it if you do a podcast about AI, which I wouldn't spend an entire podcast talking about AI.
No.
But I think for me, the line is, I like AI to the extent that it can help embellish something that already exists.
Yeah.
So, example, 604 now on our YouTube channel has a section of the channel called 604 Restored.
Yeah.
And I remember talking to you about this when we had dinner in last summer, because I think it was in the context of the Armchair Cynics. I even sent you a couple of those videos. And we haven't put those out yet.
Shout out to the Armchair Cynics.
They're coming out this summer. That's happening this summer.
Yeah.
But, the first one we did, I mean, the reason that I was obsessed with this was I was seeing these videos on YouTube that we put out over the years. And there were a couple in particular that I would watch, and it would almost make me angry how the quality of it was. So like an example of that is, say, Mary in His Trench, Cross My Heart.
Yeah.
That was a pivotal song in that band's career. Pivotal song. And for the label as well. Pivotal. And then you look at it on YouTube, it looks like it's pixelated and blurry. And that's not because it was filmed that way. It's because the technology at the time only allowed for a certain quality. Yeah. And it was somebody at my company who came to me and said, there's AI now that can
fix it all,
upscale it to 4K. And I was like, so I had them do a couple of examples, including one of those Armchair Cynic ones. Because there's that old Armchair Cynic song, I guess they're old.
Ablaze?
No, Coal Mine, which was a bit of a hit. And I'd see the video and I'd be infuriated because this beautiful video. I mean, I've seen what it should have looked like, and then I see what it looks like on YouTube. It's just like, ugh.
Yeah.
Well, we've upscaled it and it looks amazing.
Yeah, you sent me that, I think.
I sent you a couple of the Armchair ones. And now there's an example where I go, okay, I can, like, the AI side of that.
Yeah, that's
love
cool.
It.
Yeah.
It's not creating something from scratch. No. It's taking something that already exists and just making it better. Like when they find an old painting and they restore it.
Yeah.
Love that.
Remaster a VHS or something like that.
Exactly right. It's like a remastering, right? Yeah. The other thing with AI I'm finding interesting is there's ways of using AI to organize your catalog. Yeah. So after 22 years, we have a lot of master recordings, videos, artwork, et cetera, et cetera. There is a AI now, when you've seen those like goofy animations of like the sperm swims its way to the egg. Yeah. You see the thing kind of working its way through it's kind of like that. It's like AI that you can kind of set loose in your computer.
It just goes to war.
And then it's like, find every, Mariana's Trench song recorded between March 3rd, whatever.
Yeah.
And it can find it and organize it. Yeah, that to me is interesting. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah. The stuff I don't like is more like the
creative side of it. Yeah.
Like the Velvet Sundown stuff. Yeah, it's kind of cool. But you know what? Like, I remember I was on some panel recently and somebody in the audience said, "Oh, have you ever thought of just firing everybody at your company who does publicity and just doing it all AI?"
Yeah.
I was like, well, I would like to think, and maybe I'm fooling myself, that part of the reason 604 has done well is that there's a personality to it. There's a character to it. There's some humanity to it. Yeah. If I just have a computer cranking out, what the hell am I doing? To me, that wouldn't even be fun or interesting. And I'm not sure I'd want to be in the business anymore at that point.
That's what I was thinking too. If it gets to a point where they're writing our songs and singing them, it's like, I'm out on the industry. Like that's kind of the whole reason I got into it. You know what I mean? It's weird. Yeah. It's such a fucking weird thing. But
people
they're
are
already
obsessed with it though. Yeah. Holy moly.
Well, my friends and my girlfriend, it's like, we don't even think anymore. We have a question, we type it into there and it'll tell us anything, at any point. It'll give us a plan for a workout. It'll give us a plan for food. It'll give us this, that, and the other thing. It's crazy. But I don't know. But again, I also think like you can get it pretty close, but I think people can always just sniff if it's not real. You know what I mean?
I agree.
I think you can get pretty close, but I don't think you can get right across the line.
No, I don't either. I would agree. I mean, I will say we're using it also for some animations.
Yeah.
But that's usually when we're doing something in volume. So like our ambient label Intraset uses AI to make visualizers. I'm more or less okay with that. I'm more or less
lyric videos and stuff. I think that's fine. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so do I. I just think that, like I said, I like to draw the line with
the music.
Yeah, and like I said, creation versus embellishing and enhancing.
Totally.
But
some of the best aesthetics are the ones that aren't completely polished. You know what I mean? Like that aren't completely built out. Some of the best songs are the ones that are. You can hear the fingers going across the guitars and you can hear the people dropping in the back. You know what I mean?
Well, what's that song? There's that famous song by the Police.
Yeah.
Roxanne.
Yeah.
where you hear that weird discordant chord right at the beginning.
Yeah.
That was Sting accidentally sitting on a piano in the studio.
Yeah.
Now, is that like the most amazing part of that song? No,
but it's just cool.
And it sticks with you.
Yeah.
And it's interesting that was a complete mistake that they all, and you even hear, I think, Sting giggling when it happens. Yeah. And I thought, what a wonderful mistake to just leave in the song.
Hell yeah.
You know, I thought that was all pretty cool.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit also about, I'd love to hear your thoughts, and this isn't, I don't need you to brown nose anybody here, but what's it like working with Boomer?
She's the best. She's the best. She gave me like one of the highlights of my year this year. She went to high school with the Glorious Sons.
Oh, I wanted to talk about that.
And so they're my favorite rock band going right now. And
I won't tell Chad you said that.
No, right? Well, I grew up on Nickelback.
I'm kidding.
I was always on the right side of the Nickelback hate, so I don't mind saying that. But yeah, no, it was cool. And those guys are awesome. And she's been awesome. She's just so positive all the time is the biggest thing. Is she's just chill.
I think she's one of the best hires I am just so enjoying working with her.
And everyone loves her. Everybody loves her.
Yeah. Oh, good. I'm so happy to hear you. Yeah. Wouldn't that have been something if you said something negative? And
no, I could never.
It's like, actually, Jonathan, I wanted to talk to you about it. Right? I didn't want to do it on the podcast.
Shut the cameras off.
Yeah, exactly. And in fact, speaking of Boomer, she made me some notes. So I want to make sure I'm not missing anything that I need to be. We talked about your EP. Mm-hmm. Oh, here's something interesting. So Stray Bullet.
Yeah.
So when you have an account with iTunes, there's a thing called iTunes Connect, and that, I guess the average person wouldn't know this, but it's the back end of iTunes.
Okay.
So, that's where we can go in and check on how our stuff's doing.
Yeah.
And it's
like the purchases, you mean?
Exactly. Yeah. And it's wild because, I mean, for me, it was one of the most profound things is that, we did a direct deal with iTunes. We didn't go through our distributor.
Yeah.
I think we were the only label on Universal for 20 years that did it all directly. Apple or iTunes Connect is the back end where you go in there and it's like, holy shit, like here's what sold here, and it's up to date. Like it's more or less live. So it's like, here's what you sold.
Yeah.
Here's where you sold it. Here's the streams. Here's the downloads. So it's like, I wonder why we sold a whole bunch of Mitch Zorn in Norway last week. Yeah. And it gives you a chance to go, oh, maybe we should look into that. Maybe there's something going on in Norway. Like like you just never know. Yeah. But I will tell you that that song, your song, Stray Bullet, was the second most streamed song of the entire catalog on Apple last month.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Sick.
Or is it weekly? No, it's monthly. So the only song that beat you was Dancing in the Sky by Danny and Lizzie. Do you know that song?
Yeah, I know the song.
It's wild. That's
that version of it.
That song, that I could do a whole podcast about Dancing in the Sky, like what a wildly successful song. But you were ahead of Call Me Maybe.
Yeah, that's
you were ahead. There were a couple of Mariana's songs. You were ahead of those. There were a couple of Theory of a Dead Man songs. You were ahead of those. And there was a Dallas Smith song. You were ahead of that. So I kind of went, very nice.
Yeah. I didn't know that till right now.
There you go. Now you know.
Awesome.
So, and then,
hell yeah.
So you had an EP release party in Toronto at the Horseshoe.
Yeah.
What was that like?
It was cool. I've known about the history of the Horseshoe for a long time. Like my dad was a big Hip fan and I was a big Tom Petty fan, Bruce Springsteen, Neil Young, list goes on, Willie Merle, Whalen, all those guys. So I grew up doing that. And I just knew like, I wanted to do an EP party and I knew about that spot and I just messaged the guy and I was like, hey man, can I throw my EP party here? And which is nerve wracking. Like I'm from the West Coast. People don't know me very well in Toronto and you're having an EP release and you're inviting your agents and you're inviting, the industry and you want to like make a good impression, but you don't want nobody to show up. So you're just like, I hope I TikToked it enough. And then like an hour before the show, I'm like, I hope we're going to sell some tickets.
A little nerve wracking.
Yeah. And we did. And it sold pretty good and it was a success in my books. They messaged me after and said they'd love to set up another one.
Oh, that's
put
great.
Me on the roster, so it was cool.
Yeah, it's an interesting place, and I mean, on some levels, it's just a whole bar.
They all are.
But the history,
they all are. Yeah.
they all are.
Yeah.
And what my earliest memory of the Horseshoe was when I was first in the business and I'd fly to Toronto for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And I was still pretty intimidated about it all back then.
Yeah.
I was always a bit of a bull in the china shop in the record business. And every Thursday night, all the A&R people would meet at the Horseshoe. It was a gathering point for all the people at the labels and the publishing. And I remember going the first time, and it was.
I picked the wrong night.
I don't sure they do it anymore. I think COVID maybe killed that, but yeah, it was pretty profound. And of course, that part of Queen Street in Toronto, you know, I went to law school in Toronto and I lived in Kensington Market for a year, and it's so iconic.
Yeah, it is.
It's one of the reasons that I started that 604 Decades project, just because I felt like Vancouver doesn't have a similar sense of its own musical history.
No, it doesn't. I
thought it was important, and it was, you know, it's a vanity project, but it was important to me.
Yeah.
But no, I thought that was great. When I found out that's where you were doing the party, I'm like, perfect.
Yeah, it was so much
like
fun.
That's perfect. Now, what else is one do you want me to mention? Oh, Glorious Sons. We were starting to talk about it. So big fan, and they're from Kingston.
They're from Kingston, yeah.
Do they still live there?
They do, yeah. They bought, I don't know if they bought it or rented it, but they got this big compound in like the steel industrial part of the city. And they got like a bunch of apartments up top. So him and his wife, or Jay and his wife and them live there. And then the rest of the band live there? Yeah, the rest of the band is in and out of there. And then they got the studio in the basement. And yeah, it's cool, man. It's like we were talking about, like what you consider a successful music career. And it's like, for me, yeah, the not having to work thing is pretty important, but it's just the cool that you get to do. Like those writing songs with one of your favorite bands, like getting a charted song on the radio, like playing the Horseshoe, you know what I mean?
It's a hell of a thing. And I will say I agree. Like that's one of the things for me that's been, because I'm not much of a celebrity. Like I don't go goo goo gaga just because somebody's a celebrity. But, you know, once in a while you'll meet somebody who it's like, oh, like I really am a big fan. Like for me, the first moment I ever had like that was when I was first starting as a lawyer, and Art Bergman hired me. Do you know who Art Bergman is? That might be a little before your time. Iconic, seminal Vancouver performer, started in punk bands. He was in a band called the Young Canadians. I think he was in Los Populares. But an absolute hero to me when I was in high school. This was a guy I worshipped. Yeah. And when he hired me and he came to my office, and I was just like,
yeah, what the
I can't believe I'm working with Art Bergman. I can't believe it.
Yeah.
So there are those moments that are pretty.
I'll be honest, I got a little bit of that here. Like I grew up listening to country on my mom's side, but I listened to a lot of rock music growing up. And like when I was a kid, that was right in the middle of the heyday for like Theory and
Default.
Default was a big one that I listened to. I listened to that record.
And you were an Armchair fan.
Armchair. I was like a deep diver in Armchair, set that on my iPod Nano.
Nice.
It was sick. And then obviously all the Nickelback records. So it was cool. Matthew Good was another one I was really big into.
Yep.
Back in the day.
Yeah.
Which is cool. Just played the Neat Cafe. He played there. That's cool.
In Kelowna?
No, in Ottawa. When I was just out there.
Oh, did you go?
Yeah.
And?
Sick. It was sick.
Is it just him and a guitar, or is it a band?
No, he was just touring. I think last year he did the band, and then this year he was just guitar.
And you obviously know I was involved in his early.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that was my first. Yeah, I guess that really was my first success.
Yeah.
Like
Apparitions and all that.
Yeah, and I was actually managing him during Apparitions. Yeah. He had fired his I wasn't a manager then. I was just a lawyer, but he had fired his manager and he needed somebody to just kind of step in and help him.
Yeah.
So me and his assistant, Christy, kind of stepped up, and then he got another manager. But that was a hell of a, I mean, I think they were the best band in Canada, hands down, 97 to 2000.
Yeah. They were
like
sick.
There were those 3 or 4 albums, like Last of the Ghetto Astronauts, which established them locally. There was Ray Gun, which never really got a lot of the attention I thought it deserved. It had the cover of the Depeche Mode song and a couple of other things. And then, but then it was like the big 3. It was
Hello Time Bomb.
What
it was called?
The one with every with apparitions.
Yeah.
It's called what?
Was it called Hello Time Bomb?
No,
was
so
that just
that's
the
on the
song?
second album, Beautiful Midnight.
Beautiful Midnight.
Beautiful Midnight was the album that
was
blew him
album.
the up. That was like 4 times platinum.
What's the really sad slow piano one on there?
Suburbia?
No, Last Train Home. or something, or-
I know the one you mean.
fucking
God,
love
I'm
that
my
song
brain
so
is
much. Yeah. I can listen to those
Strange
records.
Days,
Yeah.
which was
So
a
good.
massive hit.
Yeah.
Why can I not remember the first album? It had the hit Everybody's All Right. What's
Yeah.
that song? Everything's Automatic.
Everything's automatic.
That's not the name of the album, but that was the first album. It had Apparitions. Underdogs was the first
Yes.
one with everybody with
Everything's
Apparitions and Everything's Automatic.
Yeah.
Which, wow, I mean that album slapped people in the face
Yeah,
like
that
that. I
album
mean,
was- I listened
then
to it
Beautiful
on repeat.
Midnight was just
Yeah,
boom.
that was it.
And then the audio of Being.
yeah.
In a funny kind of way, the audio of Being, it's not my favorite Matthew Good Band album, but 2 or 3 of the songs are among my favorites.
Yeah.
Truffle Pigs, which is a song he wrote about his A&R guy, is incredible.
Yeah.
But the band was also breaking up. So music's so funny that way.
Yeah.
Because I still listen to that record, or at least the songs I love off that record. And here we are 25 years later, and I still feel sad because I remember it was the band breaking up.
Yeah.
And when I hear it, it sounds like a band breaking
Yeah.
up to me.
Yeah.
It really actually does.
The energy is just falling away.
Yeah, and the you can feel the disharmony
Yeah.
between the players. It's weird. Like it's weird to listen to it all these years later.
No doubt.
And I know some people who were involved in that record can't listen to it because it was such a painful experience making it that they have trouble listening to it 25 years later.
Yeah.
Even though it's it's a great album, but that's music, right? I mean, that's the way it evokes. Like I've been listening a lot to the Fray recently.
Yeah, I was listening to them on
You
the
like
way
that
over
band?
here. Yeah, I love the Fray.
So the reason I was listening to them was Nickelback's original manager is now managing the Fray.
Oh yeah.
And he called me. I hadn't talked to him in a while. And it's like, oh wow, you're managing the Fray. So it made me sort of go back on. And I was listening to the song "How to Save a Life," which I guess was
Yeah.
their biggest hit.
Banger.
It actually made me cry.
Yeah.
I was sitting in my office reading the lyrics as it was going, and
Yeah.
it kind of
Got you.
I caught myself just
Yeah.
going, Jesus Christ, why did I never really? Music's so funny that way.
Yeah.
Like it. I must have heard that song 500 times before.
Yeah.
Yet it never struck me the way
Yeah.
it did on the weekend when I just, for some reason, those lyrics just like
Hit ya.
it really
Yeah.
hit me.
I got that the other day with I was listening to a Daughtry record for the first time in 1,000 years for some reason, and I was listening to there's one song in there called September, and I
Yep.
just remember it from when I was like 13 or 14, and it gave me the same experience. It's so weird.
I keep getting off track on Glorious Sons. So did you end up writing some stuff?
Yeah, we wrote a song. We finished the whole thing.
Was it being demoed at the same time?
Yeah, we demoed it right
And?
after, and it's just me and an acoustic, and then Brett's just started beating on a chair with his hand to make the drum kick, and then we just snapped our fingers. That was the snare, and that's all we got out of it.
And what are you
But-
going to do with it?
and I'm not sure yet. I'll show it to you after when we're done. But Wendy's singing backup on it. She
Oh,
sounds
that's funny.
great. I didn't even know she could sing, man. She's got a awesome voice.
I'm not going to have to pay her royalties. Am I?
no,
Better not.
I'll just put that under mine.
And then you played your first festival in Ontario, Stomp the Bruce.
Yeah.
What the hell, Stomp the Bruce?
I don't know. It was a bunch of veterans. So it was a bunch of ex special ops guys, I'm pretty
Oh,
sure.
interesting.
And they put it out at the airport just outside of Owen Sound. They set up a little festival out there, and it was cool. It was a really good turnout. It was me, Robin Ottolini, Corey Marks, and a bunch of other artists. It was awesome.
What do you think of Robin?
She's great. Yeah. I don't know her very well. I think her music's great. And that was the first time I'd ever seen her perform.
Well, I'll tell you why I'm asking, because we did a compilation of country artists covering Disney songs, which I know you
hell
knew
yeah.
about
Yeah.
because you refused to participate. I'm kidding. The
Dan
song you
Botch-
wanted to do was taken.
Yeah, Dan Botch gave me so much shit for that.
No, it's
He's
all
like,
good.
dude, I love Disney music. You got to do one. I'm like, yeah,
That's
we'll
funny.
get him next year. He loves that.
I love that. But Robin did a song.
Oh yeah. What'd she do?
You know, it's a song I didn't know before, so I'm gonna have trouble. Because it came from some movie I've never seen.
Yeah.
It's so good. It's so good.
Yeah.
There's something kind of different about her. There's something.
She's incredible, man.
Yeah,
She's great.
was really, really stoked that she agreed to do it and thrilled with the result. Like, yeah, it was really, really good.
Yeah.
And then what else is doing my best, Boomer. Although this one's interesting. Well, I didn't even know, when did you open for the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band?
Not many people.
It says on an hour's notice.
Not many people do know about that. So I was like, this was like 3 weeks ago, and I was just sitting at the house eating sushi with my girlfriend, hanging out, and I get a phone call from a random number, which I never answer. So I didn't answer it. And then Dawson messaged me and he's like, hey dude, pick up your phone. And it was the people from Prospera Place in Kelowna.
Oh.
And they were like, here, like the Live Nation folks want to chat with you, blah, blah, blah. Our opener's sick, can't make it tonight. Nitty Gritty's playing Prospera in about an hour and a half. Can you be down here? And I was just like, I mean, yeah, I can. Within the hour, I was on stage in front of 3,000 people. It was insane. It was
Did you get to talk to them at all?
Yeah. And then after they were great. Their lead singer came out, like right when I got off stage, he came out and like shook my hand, took a couple pictures, and was just saying thanks and really appreciated it. So it was cool, man. It was so cool. That was the biggest crowd I ever played for.
Yeah.
It's funny, the one, I always keep saying this, but like, it's weird when you get up there and you can't see a single person, like nobody in the front row, can't see nobody, but you can like hear them. I thought that was the strangest thing.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
There's 3,000 people in front of you, but you can't see any of them.
You just see the blur of the crowd or whatever. Yeah. Yeah.
That's
That's cool. That's a cool story.
That's cool.
And then I have two more things I'm going to ask you about. Well, I'll go with this one first and save the more frivolous one for last. And I swear to you, I'm not looking for you to give a certain answer or to pump my, anything here. But I mean, now that you've been signed for a year and a half or whatever, any regrets on your part?
No, none.
I mean,
I'm just trying to build the team out now. Like, I think I've no regrets.
But haven't you heard everybody says Simkin is crazy?
Yeah. Do your thing, man. Everybody's crazy in this business. You're even in this business. You're crazy by default.
I guess there's some truth to that. So
no, I don't think you're.
You've been happy with how it all has gone, and
definitely.
Well, that's good. I'm always, because it's you sign somebody, and maybe not all labels feel this way, but I like that kind of matters to me. Like totally. I want to know that people feel like they're getting there. I mean, there's things I can do and there's things I can't do. I can't make the public like
100%.
But I can give something its best shot it can get. And that usually just means getting it out there, getting stuff out there. So
people.
Okay, well I'm happy to hear you say that.
It's been nothing positivity, and all the people I've met thus far because of it, it's been amazing. And I think there's still a ton of work to be done on my end and everybody's end, and we'll climb the ladder, but it's been amazing.
Oh, that really makes me happy. Yeah. Now here's a question. It's not controversial, but it does, I'm being curious about it. And I may have asked you this, but so you and I went to a hockey game and it was the Pittsburgh Penguins.
It's about to get real
as
controversial.
I recall, that's right. As I recall, the Canucks won that one.
I do recall that too.
But I also recall Evgeny Malkin having a hell of a game, scored on a breakaway, and it was like he was reborn. It was like, how old is this guy again?
It was like 2018 again.
Yeah, pretty crazy. Why do you like the Penguins again? Like, how does that happen for a guy from BC? Like,
honestly, there's no story. Like, I didn't inherit that. I just, for whatever reason, was a big fan of Sid and all those guys when, not just Sid, but in like 2001, like when Ovechkin came in the league, and Sid, like, I was still big into hockey, and hockey was my first dream. Like, I wanted to play in the NHL, and I just, for whatever reason, gravitated toward those guys. Dan Bilesma, when he was coaching them, had such a good unit, and they were such a good team with Kunitz and Flower and all those guys. And I just followed them for no particular reason. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're one of those iconic teams. I mean, there was those Stanley Cup teams where it was like
Detroit,
Marc-Andre Fleury, Sid, Malkin, and Letang.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, what a core. I mean, my
unit.
God,
Yeah.
what a great, and I've been lucky. I'm a season ticket guy, and I'm lucky I've been able to see them. I saw the gold medal game at the Olympics.
That would be sweet.
I get that.
Yeah.
Like I do get that. I'm a homer. I'm such a Canucks homer.
Yeah.
All right. Well, then I want to thank you. That was fun.
Thank you. Appreciate you having me.
And thank you everybody out there watching and or listening to Versus. And
Appreciate
we'll
it,
see you
man.
on the next Versus episode. Thanks everybody.
Yeah. Go Penguins.